Hello and welcome to Virtu Design Institute Visual Communication Skills. My name's Rachel and today I'm going to present some really basic Photoshop skills for the beginner. So firstly, what I'm going to do here in Photoshop is open our file, the photo that we want to edit. So I'm going to go File, Open, Tape Painting. That's the image I want to select. So when the image opens, what I want to do is get this painting over here to be the main focus of our final image, and for it to be a flat 2D image rather than a photo of the painting. So the first step I'm going to do is get rid of the image that we're not using at this stage by cropping the image. Now there's a few different ways to do this. The first would be to use your marquee tool. So that's this tool I've got selected here, to click and drag across, and then you can go Image, Crop, Deselect. The other option is to choose the Crop tool here on the sidebar, which then gets these dragging tools going. So again, if I drag it across and press Enter or Return, our image is now cropped. The next thing I want to do is play with the perspective of the image, because I want the painting to appear flat, not at the angle of the photo as it's taken. So what I'm going to do again is choose this marquee tool, drag it across, and select the area I'm going to play with. The other thing I'm going to do is set up some guides so I can tell when I achieve a straight line. What I'm going to do is put it at the smallest point there on both sides. I'm also going to put guides vertically by dragging across from the rulers. Now what I'm going to do is go Edit, Transform. In here you can see you can play with your scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective and warp. And I'm going to choose Distort. Now I can drag the corners of my image and take them down to where I've set the guides to make an adjustment. And you can see it's just playing with the image and distorting it to look as you wish it to. So it can be finicky, you just keep playing till you get the desired result. And when you're happy, you press Return and Enter and can deselect. Now I'm going to crop my image again to get rid of all the unwanted area. So I'm going to crop down. I'm going to crop down to my guides. And there you can see I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. Now I'm not quite happy with some of the colouring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with changing the colour. And how I can do this is by going down to the bottom of this sidebar and choosing Hue and Saturation. In here I can play with the hue and change the overall colour of the whole image. I can play with the saturation. I'm going to take it down a little bit so it doesn't quite vibrate. And again, you can play with the lightness and the darkness. But I'm quite happy where it was, so I can just put that at 0. Now, there's a couple of colours here I'm not particularly happy with because I don't really like the beige. So what I'm going to do is choose my wand selection tool here and select those couple of areas so that we can change the colour there. I'm going to go Select, Modify, Expand, and I'm going to expand by just 1 pixel to make sure I don't miss any of that colour. Now what I'm going to do is change a couple of the colours in the painting because I'm not particularly happy with them. I'm going to use my magic wand tool to select and use the Shift key to add the different areas. Then I'm going to go to Select, Modify, Expand, and expand the area I've selected by 1 pixel just to make sure I'm not going to miss anything. I then select a colour that I'm going to paint with. I'm going to do that, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, which is this one on the side. And I'm just going to go select this black that's already been used. I then choose my brush tool and can paint directly over the areas that I've selected. Now I'm going to change the color mode of the image. It is currently in CMYK for print, however I want it to be in RGB for web. So all I do is go up to image mode and change it to RGB. I could also make it grayscale, however in this case RGB. Because this image is for web, I'm going to save it for web. I can go File, Save for Web. I'm then given a whole series of options that can help me to make my image smaller. I can adjust the size here, working in pixels. I can choose the size. I can choose the file type. I press save and it saves it to whichever destination for me.